If Tal Gilboa is here, it means we're on the right path. Oh, Tal, we miss your energy so much.
Yeah, Amal is coming.
Me too. Good to be back. Last week I was with Tony Robbins energy. 4 days virtual seminar with 15,000 people all around the world. Crazy, virtual.
Did you eat?
What do you say?
Did you eat at these days with Tony Robbins? Or?
Yeah, I ate in these days. Some of them. Some of them. Some of them not.
Amal, welcome Amal.
Hi everyone.
Sorry, last time I didn't have enough time to talk to you because of the time change.
Okay, it's fine.
Hello, Mr. Vu. Okay. Shalom,
Good
Liraz.
evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
How is life in Vietnam?
Yes, it's very cloudy and rainy. I'm very well, thanks.
I invite you all to come to Israel. Here is still shining, a bit even hot. And when we wake up in the morning to run.
Oh, yes, it is storms.
שלום איילת לביא, תלמידה מצטיינת. Where are you now? You're mute.
I'm in Dallas.
Dallas, oh, Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas.
Okay, guys, so we will begin. So this lesson dedicated to go on from our last session, hopefully to make things clearer, to focus, and to learn what is all about practically, and to learn how we make it down to earth. I put all my intention to be clear today and hopefully to create with you together this kind of transformation or quantum leap in our life, in our feelings, and in the way we see the future. So I'll begin with something that comes to me now, which is like, please raise your hands who want to have a change in your life. Who want to have change in your life? Please raise your hand. Shirley doesn't want. Okay. So usually when I ask this question, it's a tricky question. Because what I want to say is two things.
You can't escape change.
I don't hear you.
I said you can't escape change even if you don't want it.
So listen, Shirley, listen. Wait a moment. So the first thing is, I have two news. One is really bad news, that there is no change in my point of view. Nothing like change. When you want to change your life, usually it's like the third law of Newton. You put a lot of pressure to change something in your life, and usually change creates persistence. So if you push the wall pushes you back. If you want to change some habit or something in your life and you push it hard, it pushes back. So what I see, that change as a change doesn't work. What I believe in is in transformation. And the difference between change and transformation is huge. Because transformation doesn't need any kind of pressure, stress, or work. When you want to transform something in your life, it's like the book of Tao says that the wise man works effortlessly. It comes effortlessly. Transformation always comes effortlessly. And what I mean is that when you're really there, you can see that everything comes to you beyond your expectations, even beyond beyond your future imagery. It comes sometimes bigger, more exciting, and all what you have to do is to work on your container, that you will be able to contain the future that comes effortlessly. So what is there that stops us from the future, from the best future that is coming to us? What is there that stops us from having it all just when you are relaxed and open and you give everything to come to you? So I used to call it a ball of wire that is not in front of you, but it is behind you. This ball of wires that I called sometimes pleasure limit. That when you go into your life, and when we were children and somebody told us, no, don't be crazy, you cannot do it. You will never get there. You don't deserve joy. You don't deserve happiness. You don't deserve to being sensual. You don't deserve this, you don't deserve this. Be serious, learn good, whatever it is. Then we created this kind of ball of wires that is beyond us. And this ball of wire is holding us back. And when we go to this ball of wire, and we are able to open these wires, sometimes slowly, sometimes it goes really in a quantum leap, then the future comes easily. All what we dream comes easily. All what we saw in our paradise comes easily. So first of all, what I want you to do now, before I begin my lecture, I feel to do it now, just close your eyes for a moment and imagine there is a ball of wire behind you that is connected to your shoulders, to your head, and to your back. Ball of wire. When you take a deep breath, you can see this ball of wire that says to you, you are not enough, you don't deserve, you are not lovable. All these ball of wires. And if I would ask you to let a 3-year-old child to drive your car, you will not let him drive your car. But sometimes we let our child, our inner child, in the age of 3, 4, 5, when somebody told us, you cannot do it, to drive our life. So there is something behind us that stops us. And very, very, very slowly, I want you to imagine how this ball of wire is getting a bit loose, a bit more open. We can shake our body and move our back a little bit. We can move our head. We can move all the back of our body, and we can go forward. And imagine we are going forward now, easier, slowly, but very soft, very open. We know that all what we have to do is to focus on our imagination, bringing our imagination here, and things will happen as simple as it is. And wherever we feel stuck in our life, we just go back, we look at this ball of wire, we imagine this ball of wire, we imagine how it connects to our body, and then slowly, slowly, we release it. Slowly, slowly, we take a deep breath, and we let go of what is stopping us behind, our past. All those places when anybody told us you are too much, you are not enough. All these places, very, very simple, can be released. It may take time, but I want you to see and feel that your body is lighter now and there is more movement in your body, a flow. And you can feel the flow when you take a deep breath and we let go with the sound. You can feel it's really, really, really getting more released and more released and more released. And your body is becoming lighter and your head is becoming lighter. And you can walk forward when all the world is opening, like we are diving in the air. No resistance at all. And everything we are looking forward will come to us. Yes, sometimes it will not look like we think it should look, but you can see more and more how it works in your life. So now please let's put our hands on our heart and take a deep breath and let go of our head, release our head and release all the tension that we feel in our back, in our neck, shoulders. We take a deep breath and we relax. And our body is becoming heavier on the chair, more relaxed, more open. And when we open our heart, we let the transformation happen. We are allowing ourselves to contain more and more and more and more. So now let's open our heart for a moment, our eyes for a moment, and look again on the screen. And now we can begin to feed the mind a little bit. And then we can go forward. And we will have today another meditation. But now let's a little bit understand where are we and what is the coherence of the course. Thank you very much, Shiri Charlie. I love you. Okay. Now we share this presentation and we will begin. As you remember in last lesson, we ended up with this: from suffering to a desired future. And one moment, you'll excuse me, I have to close the windows because there is noise outside. Sorry. Okay, here we are. And people ask me, why do you call it suffering? Usually, in the coaching world, this chart is used to say what is our desired future, etc., etc., etc. Why you say from suffering to a desired future? And I want to begin with something I told you already, but to make it coherent and clear about what it means for me, a future-oriented leadership. As you can see here, We'll come to this chart soon. So what it means, future-oriented leadership? What it means, the way we look at the future? What it means when you say that you are looking for transformation or quantum leaps? What do you mean? And I'll make it now as clear as I can and share with you these charts. I was talking a little bit on these charts already, but not going all the way. So we want to go out of the survival mode. The survival mode. The survival mode means that we, first of all, we look at the future with anxiety. We're always afraid of what's going to be in the future. And then we are in survival mode. This is just the beginning. And I want to do with you some kind of a exercise that has to do with the COVID-19, because I see it more and more coming, these kind of fears. So I want to ask you, when I say to you the words COVID-19, what do you feel? And if you feel fear, please let me know in the chat, what kind of fear do you feel? Is it fear of death? Is it fear of sickness? Is it fear of yourself being sick or dying, or your beloved ones will die or being sick? Is it a fear of poverty, hunger, economical problems? Or is it a fear of the unknown, just the unknown, of something that never have been here? And I want you to write it down, and I want you to we'll do together an exercise to show you how we can just transform this kind of fear and how we work with this fear. Okay, I'll go to the chat, I'll stop the share for a moment and see what are you writing. Loneliness, being stuck. Rabin, you mean meat hunger, not meat. Okay. Loneliness, Sigalia is writing.
I actually meant meat as in flesh. That's a term I've heard coming by, where people have hunger to touch each other and touch meat, meat hunger.
I want you that I'm ready to make a commitment to all of us, if you are ready to take it, that the minute we'll be able to fly and meet each other, that will create a session, a flash session, a session that we meet each other and we can hug each other and we can come back to ourselves, go beyond this feeling of loneliness.
That would be amazing.
Yes. So I'm taking this commitment now. I hope we will go beyond this fear. We'll talk now about the fear, and then we'll see. Non-realistic fear, Omer Zamir. Nachon, that's right. So if you want, in Hebrew, you can see my lecture with Danny Vidislavsky. I was talking about the Corona times, but we'll not do it now. Not to hug anymore, yes. Rabod, I can come personally and hug you now. It's okay, not today, but maybe this week you can come and hug me. Just physically. Because we are beyond COVID, so that's... Okay. Let's give it another half a minute. I'm very happy to see. Or Toya, what do you mean when you say to disappear? Okay, so let's go. improper handling of the situation. Yes, Liraz. Okay. So, when we face this kind of fear, then automatically you will see we are in the mode of survival. And I'm just giving you a spoiler that when we are in a world of survival, our decisions are not the right decisions. Our way we deal with the future is not the right way to deal, and we can see it within our leaders, the leaders of the countries, that many of them are acting out of fear and not out of real reality check. So let's go back and let's talk a little bit on this chart. So when we are facing the future with anxiety, we tend to withdraw and we tend to be rigid. And usually I give the example of a cat. And I wrote it in my book, when a cat or a kitten is in a corner and the dog is trying to eat the kitten, you can see the kitten is holding back, is rigid, and he says two things which both of them are really problematic. One, if I will come and try to save this kitten from the dog, what he will do to me? He will scratch me, yes, בתיאבון גם. And then, why this kitten will scratch me? Can you tell me? We can just speak now.
Afraid.
Afraid of what?
Anything, everything.
If I will personalize the head of the kitten and we'll ask ourselves what we will feel in this, we say two things, which is important to look at them. The one says, please don't disturb me. All my attention is now toward this danger. So when you are trying to do something, you are disturbing me. So please, the cat says, don't disturb me. But the most problematic thing is that even if I want to come and help him, he will see it as a threat. Even if I want to come and help you, you will see it as a threat. And if we talk about the COVID-19, we see that all our attention is now toward this kind of sickness, and we forgot that people were dying before and will die later. And this is the way of life. I will not do it in this course, but I was used to do a death meditation. We were trying to imitate, to imagine our death, and then this is a great release when you go through this. But this kind of understanding that everything is now focused on this danger, it is not true. It is a twist of reality. Because there are many dangers, there were before, there will be after, and the danger of COVID-19 is not the biggest danger on our life. If I'm looking on Masha now, I see your face in front of me, or anybody else, or Lilian. I see now my picture between Lilian and Masha, so I'm talking to you. So the fear that COVID-19 will come, and especially because it is unknown, it's one of the biggest fears that we face. It's not a real danger more than, I don't know, cancer or other diseases. But this kind of what we have in the digital, in the social media, and we have it in the media itself, comes to us in an amazing, amazing, amazing power that has an effect on ourselves. And I may say that although I know it myself, and I'm also looking at the numbers and know that the numbers are not, in Israel, less people died this year than the last year. So think like this. But at the end of the day, I feel this coming beyond my meditation even. Sometimes I cannot meditate to go beyond this. So first of all, we have to see People say first you have to see what so, and then you can say so what. So we have to see that there is a huge fear here around us. And I will not talk now about politics or the way to take decisions, because I want to talk in general on fear. But when we are in a survival mode, we usually look at the future with anxiety or with fear. So then when we are looking at the future with anxiety, we are like this kid. We are closing ourselves. And what I saw, especially in the parliament, in the, let's say in the political world, that even people who are coming to the political arena because they want really to change something and to create a better world, when they are in a survival mode, they are breaking away from their core values. And even ourselves, you know, when you see, when we are in fear, we break away. We don't remember why we are here. We don't remember what is the present we want to give. We forget ourselves in a way. We forget our inner circle. And when we are in such a situation, we try to resist change. And as I said before, I'm talking about transformation, but I wrote here change, which is also we resist change and transformation. We are like this horse that goes like this kitten that says, don't disturb me. I'm now dealing with the COVID-19. Don't disturb me with other things. Don't disturb me with logic. Don't disturb me with the questions if there is something which is more dangerous to us or not. Don't disturb me with this, with your economical situation. And if you tell me that people will commit suicide because they don't have money and they die out of hunger, don't disturb me with this. What I see now in front of my eyes all the time is COVID-19. And when we are resisting change, we are in a short-term thinking. We cannot really create our desired future. We look at the past and we only want to survive today. And what will happen tomorrow will happen tomorrow. And as you see, all the governments all over the world, not all, but many of them, made the same mistake by hurting human rights on one hand, and also by creating this kind of fear and have a control on people and destroying economy. So this is reason because you think how I stop the virus now. This is something that is unknown. I want to stop it now, and I don't care what kind of damages I will do. So I don't have an holistic approach. I have a very short vision or a short approach, and then I'm all the time in a short-term thinking. And then we don't have an initiative. We are only in reaction. We see the numbers and we decide. We need lockdown, we don't need lockdown, only because the numbers are growing, and we don't really look around to see what we call the Weitenkuck, the view, the wide view. And then when we are in a survival mode, we have a victim mentality. So I can tell you from my experience, when I was a judge, you know, so when somebody is coming in front of a judge and he knows that the judge can send him for many years to jail, so he comes like this: please, Mr. Judge, help me. I'm sick, I'm this, I'm that, I'm not good, I'm not da-da-da-da-da-da. And all his body language and all his understanding and the way he thinks is victim. I didn't do it, it's because of him and her, etc. And he will say anything just to save his freedom or life. But the minute I tell him, okay, you can go home, you don't go to jail, then he stands like this and say, thank you, Your Honor. All of a sudden his body language began to transform. So, and then when we are in survival mode, our future is shaped by past trauma. As I said before, we are looking back in our past and we see our traumas. And when we have this kind of traumas, what we do, we all the time focus on our traumas and then we cannot see our best future. And what you will see in the video I share with you in the Facebook, that this kind of thinking, this kind of mind is also has an effect on your body. Sometimes even when your mind knows that you can change your body, you can heal yourself from disease, you can strengthen your immune system or whatever it is, the body was so used to think by past traumas, and all of us will do it in a minute. We are thinking by the past traumas, and then when we think about the past traumas, the body already has kind of a habit, some kind of, we have it in each and every cell of ourselves, the thinking that the worst will happen. At the end of the day, the worst will happen. And then our body is like this. And when we, unfortunately, somebody is sick and we want to change it, we want to tell our body that, yes, it's okay, you can change. The body at the beginning, and we can try to do it in a different way, thinks of the worst situation. So then, in this situation, we are feeling guilt instead of responsibility. We will talk about it later, we will not go now. But then we have a lack of energy for future creation. So then we cannot create our future, and then we are facing our future with anxiety. I wrote it in my book like around 10 years ago. And what is amazing now, that many of the teachers, well-known teachers in the world now, are talking on this survival mode and how you go from survival mode to future creation mode. So let's see what we can do. What we can do. First, about the fear, William Shakespeare said, cowards die many times before their death. The valiant never taste of death but once. So this is quite of a simplifying the whole situation. But he says something which is, I think we can listen to. That yes, the fear itself kills. And now, you know, medicine doctors and psychologists can show you that when you are in a fear all the time, when you are stressed all the time, this can kill you much more than even viruses or other diseases. And there are a scientific proof for this. So before we go to the future creation mode, I just want you, I'll stop share for a moment. And I want all of us to do a short exercise and short meditation. Let's see how much time we have. Yes, I see the Jan wrote about, yes, about this past traumas, limiting belief or conditioning. Yes, that's right. You are right. So what we'll do now, we'll use something which is now, in a way, is more proven in the world of psychology. A very, I may say, even a stupid exercise, but it works. And I also experimented here for 2 years. It's called EMDR. I don't know if you know it. It's kind of a rapid eye movement. And what I want you to do is to see how we can reprogram. And we cannot do it today because we don't have enough time, but we will just see it today, and you can do it at home. So for example, when I go out riding bicycles, and usually I ride bicycles on the road, so there are cars around me sometimes. What I have in mind, I had in mind, every time, where are the places who are dangerous, and what I have to be careful of. And usually this kind of picture that maybe in this point a car will hit me came to me all the time. So, and I think each and every one of us has this kind of feeling sometimes when you wake up in the morning that maybe the worst will come, when you get the COVID-19, or your sister or your mother, Lilian, or whatever, then maybe your father, mother will die, or you will die, and what will be with your children, da, 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 all these kind of things are coming to our mind. So I'll teach you a very simple, I may say even sounds some stupid exercise, but it works. And I can tell you on myself that it worked. And in this exercise, what we do, I'll say first and then we'll do it. We meditate, we let this feeling or trauma or limiting beliefs come up, and then we do something which is a rapid eye movement, and then we meditate again, and we can see, we'll give it now 10 minutes, we can see that when you're doing this, you can, some vacancy, some vacuum is happening, and you can bring into this vacuum the best future that you want to bring, even not future in 10 years, even your future to tomorrow morning. And this was the reason I ask you to go to your suffering and to transform your suffering into the best future you can do. So what I'm asking you to do is just let's close our eyes. Let's take a deep breath, and let's begin maybe from today. If you had any kind of thought that it is a worst case scenario, that something horrible will happen to you, whatever it is, please imagine it, feel it, and let it up, bring it up. And everybody who can remember, if it's not today, maybe the last week or the last month, can remember any moment that his worst case scenario came up, please open your eyes and raise your hand. You can all open your eyes now. סיגליה איסי, ליאת איסי, מירב, את אופטימית חסרת תקנה. So everybody, please raise your hand, all those who can imagine now one feeling that can be okay. So now I will ask you to do something very strange. I ask you to take a pen if you have, or if not, just look at your finger. You sit straight, you look at the screen, you don't move your head. But when you move this pen, you move only your eyes. Look at the pen to the right and to the left, and to the right and to the left, and to the right and to the left. Focus on the pen, and to the right and to the left, and to the right and to the left. Take a deep breath and continue. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can let up the trauma or your thought, your worst scenario thought, and continue moving your eyes. Take a deep breath. If you feel to do it more rapidly, you can go whatever you feel. Follow the pen, follow the finger. Now let's stop and close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that within your brain we created a vacuum. And I want you to sit down, to relax, to take a deep breath to your heart, to connect your heart to your brain. And imagine that we are opening a new path in our brain. This is physically what happens. And in this path, we can create the best future instead of our worst case scenario. Take a deep breath inside and outside. Each time we take energy into our body, and with our out breath, we let go of stress from our body. When we take a breath, we imagine we bring our best future to our body. And with our out breath, we let go of all the past traumas that we have. And imagine that your heart is open. And you can open your hands with closed eyes. And imagine you are opening yourself to the best future you want to create for yourself. You can feel that something in your brain is changing. Something in your heart is changing. You can feel you can let go of this worst case scenario, and you can mold your future perception onto the best future you want to create for yourself. Continue doing it just the same way. In breath, you take new energy, new inspiration, new future. Out breath, we let go of our ball of wires. We let go of our worst case scenario. We let go of our limitation. And again. You can open your hands. Just raise your head to the sky, close the eyes, and open more and more and more. And now take a deep breath into your heart. Slowly, slowly, you put your hands on your heart. Slowly, slowly, you let go of your head, you look at the earth. You feel that all your body is more relaxed. You feel something is lighter, lighter, lighter. Slowly, slowly, you open your eyes, you look at the earth, at the ground. You connect your feet to the ground. You imagine like roots are coming out of your feet to the ground. And slowly, slowly, we can raise our eyes and look at the screen. Actually, we look at the energy, we look at the people, we look at all of us. So, let's take 2 minutes to write down if you have any kind of feelings that you feel now. Thank you, Eyal. Expansion, Amal, wow. Arnon, thank you. Yes, Maureen, me too. I feel family here. It's really exciting. People, most of you I didn't meet in my life, face to face. But I feel I can trust each and every one of you. And I can share with you everything like you share with me. And it is amazing. Okay. Time is running. So we'll give you another 2 minutes to write more. I would like all of you to write what do you feel. Also, Arnon wife, I don't remember your name, it's a problem, but you will forgive me. Tal, what do you feel, Tal Gilboa? My beloved Tal Gilboa.
Open heart.
Thank you. So, אורלי, בת וכל כך מהר את מרגישה כבר אהבה? זה באמת מהר. Thank you, Orly. So, Jan Zen. Wow, Masha, you are exciting me. It's really exciting what you wrote. Don't believe in relaxation, though. Don't go there. Maybe it's good. So, Wow, Rubin, it's really exciting what you say, what you wrote. Thank you. Okay, I will go forward. First of all, something to say about this EMDR. We did it just a few seconds. It's not really the whole working. Sometimes you have to do it like 10 to 15 minutes. And what I suggest you, each and every one of you, if you really want to go this way, if it interests you, first of all, you must know that this is, in a way, I don't know why, the most proven result in new psychology. It's really proven by science that more people can really let go of their traumas by these kind of things. But I ask you if you want to do it, or to go to a specialist, or at least to learn a lot from the internet what it's all about. I don't think it can create any harm, but still, I think you should consult a specialist at least once before you begin to do it at home. It's important, I think, just to do that you're making right. This is one thing. The other thing
Shlomo, I have a question about that. It's only for trauma or also for fears?
It's for, okay, we'll not go into defining what is the difference between fears and traumas now, but it's for everything. It's for improving your life quality even. Whatever it is, because we have always in our mind this kind of worst case scenario. And we can just go with this worst case scenario and let it out. And then we train our body. Look also on the video I sent you today. We can train our body to work with the best case scenario. And then we just get happier, we get healthier, and it can change our life. Sometimes it takes time. I don't say it's a magic, but still it works. So, and you will go, you will see it. Every fear you have, and it's not only a fear, it's like you wake up in the morning and any kind of memory comes to you, that your father beat at you when you was 3 years old child or whatever. And it comes to you. So what do you do with this? The first reaction that we do, we bring it into our life today and we bring it into our future. And what we are working all this course is to create our best future. We are talking about leadership and how you create a future-oriented leadership has to come from the best future. As a leader, you want to create the best future for yourself and for people. We'll come to it now. So this is something that it's really very important, that we can change our quality of life, we can change our way of behavior, we can change also the way we deal with fears. Because at the end of the day, the fear came, this kind of adrenaline to our bodies came from being in the forest, in the jungle, when a lion is chasing us. And now, because of our mind, we are imitating these kind of things into our body. When you see a deer in the forest and when the lion is chasing the deer, and if it didn't get her, if it didn't kill her, you can see her after a few minutes standing very quietly and eating grass. If it happened to you and to me, we should go to a psychologist all the rest of our life and see lions in everything. So this is something that we can change. We can change this kind of trauma, and also we can change this kind of fear. This is one thing. The other thing is, one moment, what Jan said. What Greg said. Okay. So, let's see what time we have. Yes, I want you also, Sivan is here. I don't see Sivan.
Of course.
Of course, okay. So, I would like now to take only 5 minutes, but if it's okay to you, to share people to their bodies. So I want you to share with each other for 5 minutes with somebody that you are meeting now. Maybe from your group, your family, from other family, and just to share with you, what do you think? You can share your fears, you can share what you feel now, you can share how you think you can deal with your worst case scenario into your best case scenario. We'll give it 5 minutes and then we'll go forward with my lecture.
With you see the watch, right? Where we have only 5 minutes. Okay, so we are going to the room.
But we have, Danny and Helen, we have until 6:15, yes? Or you want to begin before?
Your decision.
It's all okay. We can do whatever you like. We'll do a beautiful thing anyway.
But I want you to have an hour, so it's okay.
It's okay.
Okay, so 5 minutes starting now.
Okay.
It is always too short, those small meetings.
Shlomo? Can you hear Avner?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, what we had here, as you remember, and what we are talking now, and we will go for more in our next session, what we are going to do now, and actually it will be your homework until the end of the course, is what you will see now. Not this one, but we have so much, I have so much to tell you, to teach. What I want you to do is to do actually these two one moment. Yes. What you will do at our last session, when will be this graduation session for all of you, will be built on this basis. What you have to do is to go through what I told you today and actually until today. You have to do and create again your best future, to create again your high purpose, and then you have to bring it into reality. And you will have only 5 to 7 minutes to share with all of us in speaking, but I want everybody of you to share this in writing in our Facebook group. Except Eyal Ron, who doesn't go to Facebook, he will write it to me via mail. So, if our future self is telling us that in 7 years from now, we will be here and there, we will give our present to the world in this way or the other way, and we want to create this future, then I want you to write it down. And to write it down how your life gonna look like in 7 years, via all this, you remember this suffering scale. It means via all your, not in suffering, but via all your stages in life. And then if you have to be there in 7 years, where do you have to be in 6 years? And then 5 years. It's like coming from the future, the journey backward. So we're listening to the call of the future and we are writing it here. Where are you going to be in 7 years, in 6 years, in 5 years, in 4 years from now, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, and then in the coming year. When are you going to be in year from now, in 9 months from now, 3 months from now, and what I have to do tomorrow morning. This is the way to bring all what we talked into practicalities, into reality, into really something that's going to happen. So you have time. You don't have to do it until the next week, I want you to write something to the next week about your feelings today and how you think you change your worst case scenario into the best case scenario. This is what you have to write until the next week, but then you have time to write it until the end of the course. How do you see your life? As we said, 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, in each and every facet of life, in each and every subject, in every region of life. If it is about your body, health, if it is about your financial situation, abundance, if it is about your relationship, your spouse, your partner, or do you want to be alone, that's okay as well. We don't have any kind of judgment on this. You want to be with a man or with a woman, whatever you want to be. Always few, I don't know. We don't have any kind of judgment. But if this is what you want to do, please write it here. Write it your best future. And then you write down very practically what do you have to do in order to get there. So you write from the journey, you write backward from 7 years to 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, etc. Okay? You can see this. We share with you this presentation. You can see, you can listen to the recording and write it down. Now, we have to finish soon. So if there is any kind of question, but a short question that I can answer now, please ask if you don't understand what to do. And if you have any other question, you can write personally to me and then in private to me, and I will answer you. Ken. Thank you, Shirley. Okay, so you will understand. Everybody will understand what to do and take a commitment to do it. I say again, you understand what to do and you are committed to do it until the end of the course. Please raise your hand. Great. Art, you raised your hand or you just scratch your chin? Okay. Okay, so this is really practical. Two things to say about it. First of all, I don't want you to see it as a mission. It is about your high purpose, which means I want you to write it down and put your total intention that it's going to happen. But I don't want you to come to me in 1 year from now and say, listen, I wrote it down and I was too lazy to do it. Because it's okay if it didn't happen in 1 year. In order to create our future, it's kind of a paradox, I told you. First of all, we have to put our total intention in creating our future, to write a plan, and to go totally to this plan. מאיר, אתה שומע אותי? It has to do also about your company. So then you write it down. But then I want you to let go and leave universe to give you the hints or the way sometimes. You have to do your work, but the results are up to God or to existence, whatever you believe. So this is the way to create your future without creating suffering. You have to put your intention totally, like I told you, or I told today people about our next course and the mentor's course. I know my intention. I put it very clearly. But then I let go and I give this way. You know the story that the one guy, and with this I'll finish, got a special promise from God that God will save him wherever he will be. So then one day he was drawn into the water. The ship broke. So he was in the water, and then a helicopter came to rescue him. So he said, no, I don't need a helicopter. I have a promise from God to rescue me. And then another ship came to him, and he said, no, I don't need a ship. I have a special promise from God to rescue me. And then he died. And then he came to God and said, oh God, you promised me. He said, yes, I sent you a helicopter, I sent you a ship, but you didn't take it. So when you put your total intention on something, existence will help you, for sure. But sometimes if it looks a little bit different, don't say no. Look around, don't be like a horse that goes like this. And then you will see the whole situation. Thank you so much. And I'm so very happy to give the floor to Helen and Danny. Wow, what I will say about you, Helen and Danny, it's amazing. First, I have to say that I really so much love you both. And we became friends. And I think yesterday I told to somebody that I was in Den Haag, you know, with a suit and a tie and the whole thing. I gave some lectures. And then I saw one guy with long hair who was almost in tears when he saw me. And he said to me, and I said to him, we were waiting for each other for so much time. And Jan was there. Jan remembered, I think. Yes. So it was an amazing. We came to support Jan as a Commissioner for Future Generations, Ombudsman for Future Generations in the Netherlands. And then Jan had an organization that called Seventh Generation. So every decision you take, you don't look at the past. You go and you ask your son of your grandson, seventh generation ahead, what he will say about your decision. This is sustainability at its best. And I was so excited to see you. And then I met Helen in Germany with you, and all the rest is history. So then the floor is yours. I love you.
Thank you, Shlomo. Can you hear us?
Yes, sure.
Okay. It's always...
Okay, go.
It's always such a pleasure to see you, and I trust in 7 generations we'll be sitting at a great fire up in the sky and having as much fun as we have these days.
Yeah, we already had a lot of adventures together, so I'm sure it will continue.
Yes.
Thank you for inviting us and have a presentation today.
Thank you. Wow. So let's start.
You or me? That's always the fun with the two of us. Who will start? I think you will today.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, it's very nice. Just a short talk about who we are. I'm Danny. She's Helena, obviously. But we were both, amongst other things, therapists. And one of the things that really touched us was with the people or the children, was when they really were touched, they changed. And this was also a teaching I had. I've been connected to Native people for many decades. And the Native teachings taught me how to read fire, how to read actually the fire inside of us, in our hearts. And that took me on a journey, a life's journey. And of course, on that way, we also met Shlomo and more. But the best thing of it is the fire that burns in each of us wants and needs wood and air. And to do that, we got gifted this wheel of growth to really show how you can tend this fire in here to help you grow. And we'll tell more about it shortly.
Yeah, we met about 3 years ago, and Shlomo was with that moment too, so that's really beautiful. And what was beautiful when we met together, that our dreams came together. We both knew that something was going to happen, and you saw a little bit more than I did. But I also knew that my life was going to change drastically. So I was a child therapist, so I worked a lot with children, and I loved it when we had that connection, when you have a connection with a child, and I'm sure you all know this, that when really something is touching a child, something is changing, you see like a natural power in a child. And that natural power is able to change everything. What I saw as a therapist, that they change in that moment, they change the whole family system. And they do it just by being in truth, by being who they are. And we all adults feel this moment and know this. So that's like a mirror to us. And that moment, that's where you're talking about, is like the inner fire of a child, but also the inner fire of us as adults. And that inner fire, that's where fire keeping is all about. And that's what now the last 3 years, we're building on that part to how we can bring that into the world. But today, the first thing we got when we met each other was the wheel of growth. And it was on a really awful Monday morning when we just were 3 months together, and there was a lot of things going on, and it wasn't really funny. So we said, well, let's draw everything down where we are at in this moment. And then Danny was with this big paper and he was making all kinds of dots. And then he said, well, no, and he threw it away. And this happened for 3 times. And then suddenly within a minute, he said, well, I don't know what this is, but I'm sure this is really beautiful. And I have to take a look at this because I don't know yet. And then we started studying this wheel we didn't know yet. And it's got different names, but now it's called the Wheel of Growth. And it's built on that life always is like a circle. There are many ways that we see life in a natural flow. And this is like a natural flow of energy. So we started really looking at this wheel and took everything on it and say, well, this relationship or this project, or we had to buy a car, or it didn't matter what we put it on it, it was always working. So we'd like to share with you the wheel of growth, but what's most important of that is that we share how it feels. We like to make it very practical. So you have a sense of the wheel of growth instead of just that we are telling about it. So I think it's a good time to start up our presentation.
Yes. Let's see. Can you all see us or?
Oh, now it's perfect.
Like this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what we learned is that this is about consciousness. A consciousness that grows in our individuals. As we grow ourselves, our consciousness gets bigger. And it's the same with the groups. And why it's so important for leaders and also the next generations of leaders is you are representing a group. The consciousness of that group is working through you. This is very important to remember and to see how this works through you. The Wheel of Growth is a really nice tool to see how growth develops. And in 4 stages, you can see where that group and yourself are. So it's a very useful tool.
It's a kind of logical process. It's a way of almost predicting what's going to happen. And when you see it for the first time, it's like, okay, well, there are 4 parts, but we go in there in more detail. But the most important part for you as a leader is that it's a natural process. And if you understand it and if you can feel it, you know where the group is at. So you know what's running through you in that moment. And then it's more easy to understand in which part you are and what's necessary to come to the next part. So that that it's growing. It's really about the growing of your own consciousness, but especially of the group consciousness, because you are a representative of the group. That's because you are a leader. And you always start in the East. So the first part we start to talk about is inner change.
Yes. You see this circle and you start in the East. We always start in the East because that's where the sun comes up. This whole wheel of growth, I learned it also to the grandmothers from many native tribes. That's also why it came to us. So the first thing is something new reaches you. And let's do a little exercise right now. Just close your eyes for a second. Just sit as relaxed as possible. Close your eyes. And now remember why you joined the SGLA. And now feel what is happening to your body. Just feel what is happening. When you remember the point that you started with the SGLA and why you started. Okay, thank you. And then come back to the screen, please. As you see with the You Start Here, this is the idea that came to you. And it's long been in preparation because we already know that Shlomo took quite a few years to really get the idea himself. So the inspiration was already there. But we'll get back to that later. But you felt already now the inner change and the change in your body. When an idea comes, it's the first time you feel it or you feel, oh, this is inspiration. And the next thing that happens is, I would say, almost like chaos. You get all the things, oh, this and that and everything. And it really, but what is really happening is you're letting every cell of your body getting used to that new information, that new feeling, that actually new part of consciousness that is taking part of your body.
I think we go to the next one.
Yes. So what happens is you get inspirational and then the chaos starts. Right now, mostly even the same day or the day after. You start thinking about it, all kinds of stuff is coming towards you and you get into chaos.
And then you can wait for the emotions to come up. And especially, and Shlomo was already talking about this, especially the old patterns are coming up. So old emotions, why it wouldn't work, or why you can do it, or why it doesn't the right step, or why whatever. All those emotions are just coming up and coming to you. And it wants to be handled. It wants to go through you instead of that it wants to stop somewhere and it gets a blockage. So all the emotions wants to really, emotion is an energy in motion. So it wants to go through your body. And when it's going through your body, then you will change. Because
yes,
every emotion, when it's passing through you, it will change your body. And you will feel it maybe in you start eating different, or you get different habits, or you need something different, or you dress different, or there are many ways how this shows up.
Yes. This is also really consciousness that's taking part of you. Most of the time, if it's something bigger, it feels like heat, because it's literally fire that is transforming every cell of your body. So what is needed in that timing? Because your body is really physically changing. Physically changing means you need to take a break every now and then. Because you have to physically recoup from what is happening. And you have to do it mostly more often. The bigger the change wants to be, the more break you just need to take to let your body adjust to this. Very important in this part is listening to what food is needed for your body. All of a sudden, you never liked apples. And all of a sudden, you get an incredible craving for apples. Please take the time.
Chocolate.
No, chocolate isn't the right one. That always happens. Chocolate is normal. But an apple is something different. But really, if there's a craving like this, no matter what it is, please follow it. Your body knows what it needs to do. And it's, especially for us as leaders, it's very important to learn to follow this feeling. Follow and see what it happens.
Yeah, and also in this part, you need contact with other people, because contact, really physical contact like this, is really important for the emotions. Because when there's a lot of chaos and you have a lot of thoughts and a lot of emotions, it's difficult to calm down. And the most important part is to really calm down, to really relax into it. And when other people can help you with this and be with you, that makes it way easier. We are not supposed to do it alone. We think we should do everything alone, but what we see is that we're not supposed to do it alone. So ask other people to help you. And you can do many exercises. We will do an exercise with you now, what you can do, but there are many exercises helping you to get through this first part, especially to go in nature. Go for a walk every hour or every 2 hours, because nature really helps you calming down. A tree cannot grow faster than it grows. It will remind you of stepping back and listen. And that's also about the second part.
Yes. So let's do a little exercise again. Please close your eyes, and if possible, put your hands with the palms up on your knees. If you're sitting straight, put your hands with your palms up on top of your knees. And first of all, you get grounded. And grounding means you allow whatever there is at this moment, just let it be. You allow, even if you're sky high, it's okay to be sky high. You just sit like this and you accept everything that there is for now. Whatever there is, you say okay to it. Even if you're down or if you're sky high, it doesn't matter. Just say, okay, this is what is. And that's what we call earthing. You ask the energy of the earth up through your feet, through your whole body. So you ask earth, please come up with your energy through my whole body. And you don't have to do this aloud. You just allow it to. Yes. Just allow the support of the earth energy to really help you and to really help your body. And just feel what it does. Yes. Thank you. And then you come back to the room. You take another deep breath. Yes. Thank you.
Can you write down? So
That's, yeah.
There.
No. Is there anybody who could share something via chat? What happened?
What did you feel? What happened to your body? How can we see the chat? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. This is beautiful. This is all about you get more connected and the help for your body is really coming in. This is wonderful. This is so important. And if you help other people and you know about the circle, you can help them do these exercises. But it's even better if you do it for an example with them.
Let's do it yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. Be an example.
Yes, and here and now. Yes. Yes. Most of the time what happens, you feel a lot of expansion inside your body and your body really even starts healing itself. Yes.
This also makes it easier to manifest your inspiration. You become the inspiration.
Yes. The more you let this happen, the easier it will go.
Beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
This is perfect for the next step. When we go to the second quarter, it's about expanding intuition. And what happens is that at the end of the first quarter, you become the inspiration. So the inspiration is really manifest in your body. It's really, you show the inspiration, even if you're not telling it, people know it, people feel it. So people will react on this new inspiration you're bringing in. So when we talk about leadership or what happened when you choose for the SGLA, people will feel that you bring this with you. Even if you're not telling it, they sense something different. So you bring in new inspiration for them. And what will happen is that you get new messages from people around you, but also from nature. So this part is really about listening. Listen to everything, what's happening to you or what people are telling you or what you see in nature, because then you get more of your inspiration will be manifest. So the parts which are not manifest yet will get manifest in this part because of all the little messages you are receiving. Mm-hmm. So what is needed is to really sit down. Take time to sit down and start listening. not only listening to the talking, but especially listening to your body. What little signs do you get? And then you start learning through dialogue. So everything in your surroundings is mirroring something. And when you start listening and start talking to this consciousness, there will come a dialogue. And you get new information. Especially in nature, this works. So when you go out in nature and sit with a tree or look at the sky, it's making connection to you. So it's not one way, but it's two ways. So in this quarter, it's really about expanding your intuition, sensing everything, so that your inspiration can become more manifest.
Most part of intuition and most part of actually the whole of creation wants to help us to gain and to manifest that part of the inspiration. So what you do with sitting and being in nature and listening and just letting that consciousness work through you is like a dialogue. And you get more information, and whatever you come up with, you handle it at that stage.
So let's do an exercise. Please close your eyes and sit as comfortable as possible so that your body can relax. And then you feel your breath. And your body is raising and falling. And follow it, just follow your breath. And then you go with your attention to your heart. And maybe you feel your heart. Maybe it's warm. And then in your heart, there's a chair. A very comfortable chair. And you go and sit in that chair. And you feel how the chair is supporting you. And you feel how you sit in the chair in your heart. And you can really relax. And then in front of you, about a meter, there's this fire. It's burning in a very comfortable way. And maybe you can see it, or you can feel it, or sense it. Maybe you see the flames. And the fire is really warming your whole body. And while you sit in your chair near the fire, on the other side of the fire, you ask if you can see a person who is showing you any emotional reaction about your leadership. And you just watch it. You don't have to do anything with it. You just sit on your side of the fire. And maybe you feel something. That's okay. You don't have to do anything with it. You just watch what this person is showing you. Whatever happens to your body, just let it be. It's okay. And then you bring your attention back to the fire. You see the flames, you feel the warmth. And you feel how you sit in your chair. And you just feel what happens to your body. And now you thank the person who has been on the other side of the fire, who showed you something. Just be thankful for what is shown. Whatever you've seen, it's okay. And then you return to your breath. And at your own pace, you come back in the room you are. And please share what you've seen or felt, if you're ready.
Did anyone see someone react emotionally?
Would you share something in the chat?
Yes.
What happened to you?
What we most of the time forget, yes. Yeah. Yes. Oh, beautiful signs. Yes. Every now and then you also get a very emotional and maybe even angry reaction. Sometimes, and it's the same with us, when we get inspiration from somewhere, we say, hey, I don't want this and whatever. And if you got an emotional reaction on the other side of the fire, please just remember he or she is also trying to just get connected to that inspiration you are carrying. If this is the truth you're doing, and then the other person also wants to actually join that same fire, because it's always nicer to sit together at the fire. All of us want that.
And especially because you bring in that inspiration for other people. So they recognize something and they don't know how to deal with that in that moment. And sometimes they are very positive, and sometimes you get also negative reactions. And that's more difficult sometimes to handle. But remember, when you put it on the other side of the fire, and you're not stepping in there, because the fire is also about, the high fire is also about very big emotions. So when we have like anger and rage or whatever, that's a really big fire. We cannot stay close with the fire, then we have to step back, because otherwise we become that fire too. So fire really helps also to see what's happening, and sometimes we really feel it in our body that is like raging in a way. It's coming up and like, that. But in that moment, we also know that it's the fire of the whole group, usually, because we are representative of the group. So it's also what's happening in the group.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we get at the second half of the circle. At that edge something really beautiful happens. The inspiration becomes so much part of you, including a part of the experience with the direct group around you. And we always say, you go from thinking about feeling, because this is still a lot of it is mind oriented. Of thinking about it, you go to the feeling itself. And the first thing that always happens then is you start feeling and becoming the experience. You're really taking in the experience. So your body already has changed, part of the group has changed, and then it gets bigger. And you're more and more carried, and you're more, because of all your experience already, it's becoming wisdom. Wisdom is always connected to a value. And just so you know what is a value, the value is a tool, and it's mostly proven through the generations before us, that takes us from survival mode to a living mode. This is crucial in the next steps, because we need that tool to really go from that survival mode into the living mode. So the biggest part you still have to do then is really connecting. And with the exercises, we already started connected. You felt the expansion. The moment you feel that expansion, you're growing and you're connecting. And as a leader, you really have to take time to listen to the consciousness of the group and see what is the value of the group. And you have to do, with other leaders, self-reflection. You can't see yourself. Not as good as you'd like to. If you think so, you might want to try again. But you can ask other leaders, because they understand you're having your time with self-reflection, because there's something happening in the group. And you start talking and the others are listening. And what happens then, the value becomes clear. So what you need in that timing is what we call elders. Elders are experienced people on a certain part of that have taken that experience already. They embody already that value. Is that clear enough? Mm-hmm. Yes.
This part is really about embodying your values. You start really working together as a team, so the work is done and things are making progress. And the elders are backing you up in a way. They're helping you to reflect, but also helping you to show how the values are embodied, because it's easier for them because they have that experience already.
And it's also because a lot of the elders really have taken in this circle so many times, even if they don't really understand what is happening, they understand how to hold that fire with you, how to help you to hold that fire, because that whole transformation of that group is going through you too. You represent that group, and that fires and those consciousness parts are going through, and that's heat. And elders can really help you to do that on a soft way.
Let's do an exercise.
Yes.
Last one before the closure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
We have time until another 20 minutes, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We're changing for okay. Yeah. So what you do?
Yes. So what we do usually is we sit down and let's do it again. And just close your eyes. And straightly go to the chair in your heart. You've already been there and you totally relax. And now you let come to you the value. The value that just comes up. Your value that you're really working on. Could be truth, could be trust. The value that comes up is one of the reasons why you are a leader for your community. You are learning and your community are learning that value. And just feel what it is for you. Yes. Just become your value. Become safety or become trust. Become wisdom. Yes. And now share at the fire, you ask on the other side of the fire, your community. Let your community or your family come at the other side of the fire and just share that value. Just show it to them. It's heartfelt. You are that value now. Just be open. Yes. You don't have to understand it. Just be it. Yes. And then you look back at the fire. And just be with that fire for a second. And you were just such an inspiration on this value for your community. And we could actually feel it. This was so beautiful. Thank you. Would anyone, and then just come back to the room, open your eyes. Would anyone care to share?
About your value, what you felt.
About your value and what you felt happening just now. Yes. Wow, Masha. Thank you. Yeah. Oh.
Beautiful. Oh, yes, to your son. Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. This is on a very beautiful way how you share your personal gift with your community. This is one of your biggest talents you've actually showing it to them. Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Yes.
We already dived into the fourth quarter about future intelligence and origin of inspiration.
Oh, okay.
In the fourth quarter, it's about sharing. And what you did at the fire, we combined the steps. What you did at the fire was sharing your value. And that's a really important gift you bring into the whole consciousness. And in the fourth step or in the fourth quarter, you get it's about an overview. You see the whole process and what you learned and what you gained. So you're being a service for the future, for other companies or for other people or for your community, other communities. In this part, you get a sense also for the next step. So when we go to the fifth part of the circle, the core, then we'll explain a little bit more about that. But you get really a sense of the future, which things are coming because of all your wisdom you gained and all your experience you had during the walking through the circle. You are the most the most you as a person are the most likely to get new information.
Yes.
So you can see in the distance because you have all that experience in your body. It's almost logical. You will get next answers and next steps, and that's what happened in the fourth quarter.
Yes. As you get into, because you had the experience and you get this sense of future, and you also already know that you already had an image of a perfect future. You might call it the Garden of Eden or your paradise or whatever that future is like. We like to call it magical farms at this stage. You're already starting to connect, but this value you've got is important for that image, for that future intelligence you're using. And it gives you a sense, and I can actually feel it in my body now. It's giving me a sense of what I need to do or where I need to go to make this happen. It's a logical step.
It's really your gift for yourself and for your surroundings.
Yes. And for me, the example for me is, and it's with Slow-Mo easy. Slow-Mo came in. I already knew there was something going to happen. One day in my life, I will come, will meet a guy from Israel that's really going to change my life. I already knew this. And he walks in and it completely changed my life. And after that, and that's, yes, I love you too. And I'm grateful for the trust he had of making those steps. Thank you. And what you do is you connect so deeply. And then the last part of that journey comes. You go back to the original fire of that inspiration. And you take your time and you sit with that fire. This is what we call the home fire. And the home fire, what happens there is you become and are that new future. For as long as you can hold it. And you balance it with your passion and your compassion. Passion is pure fire. Compassion is actually the water next to the fire. And everything that's still in the way of creating that future, you release it at that moment. We normally do this literally with a fire. If we don't have a bigger fire, we light a candle. To really lay down everything that is no longer needed for the dead.
The native traditions call this the hollow bone, to become the hollow bone, so that the information can really come to you and can really go through you.
Yes.
The home fire is in the core, and it's what after every part you go back to the home fire to prepare for your next step. Because then when you just relieve the stuff you no longer need it, then you can go to the next step. You are ready for the next step. So the home fire is really the core of the whole circle.
And and we didn't write it down yet, but a big part of being at the home fire is that you're making yourself ready for the next step. But it means you have to find your courage. And you will find, yes.
It's there.
Oh, it's already there. I didn't see that one. So you go back to that fire and you find your courage to do the next step, because it's a leap of faith. You've got this sense and you have to do it. And you might not even understand why you got to go somewhere. And you go there and something beautiful happens, always. But you have to take that leap of faith. We call it a leap of faith. In open trust, make that next step. So for the last exercise, it's going to be a shorter one. Might be a bit hot, but that's okay. I'm asking you to close your eyes again. And again, directly go to your heart. And yes, maybe it's very nice to just touch your heart and be with your heart for a second. And as you sit in the fire, yes, next to the fire, and you feel that fire. And with everything you learned up so far, it's time to make your next step, even if you don't know where. And if there's anything blocking you at this time, I'm asking you to lay left next to you at the fire. Just let it go. Yes. Any doubts you have about yourself, anything. And then you stand up next to the fire. And you lay everything down what is can still be laid down. Just let it go. And then you take a leap over the fire. Just jump over that fire. No matter what, you jump. It's your time. And you jump, yes. And you have let go of everything. And you're over. It is done. You took your next step. Thank you for taking that next step for yourself and for your community. I honor you and I thank you for who you are and what you came us to bring.
Yeah, thank you so much. May you walk in beauty. May you walk in beauty.
May you walk in beauty. May you walk in beauty.
May there be all beauty around you.
And only beauty come towards you.
Thank you.
Daniel, it has been said. Thank you all for listening.
Thanks.
Thank you so very, very much. Thank you so much.
So I have to create kind of a completion because this is my job. Trying out of love and excitement, and you touch my heart, Danny, so much. I didn't tell people that you are one of the greatest shaman I have ever met. You both, actually. And yes, there is something that I know that goes beyond all what we understand, goes beyond this time. And I know that this something brought us all together here. We were a few days meditating in the Netherlands on the roots of SGLA. When I was there, you know, logically I didn't understand anything that happened there. We were totally emotional, you know, loving and not loving, and accepting and not accepting. But I know, and I totally believe that this kind of, that at the end of the day existence takes care. And when I see it now, it's like a dream come true. And I want to tell you all that this is for me a dream come true. I was looking around and I saw what is going on here and what we are going to create on this planet. And for me, it is so exciting. And I feel this huge love to all of you and to all the people we're going to touch and have an impact in the future. So I have nothing to say now. If you want to say or share or tell us something, I can just say, first of all, Danny and Helena, I love you so much. And I love all of you here in this room. I feel you totally, everybody in this room. Don't leave us now. Wait another minute. We need you here with us. The Israelis usually are rushing out. So wait a moment. It's a miracle happening here. You should know that it's a miracle happening here. Thank you. If you want to say something and share, the floor is still open. If somebody has to go, it's okay as well. But I feel like I want to stay here forever.
Well, I would like to share something.
כן, פרבוד יקר.
Yeah, I'm Israeli, so of course I'm also thinking, you know, what I have to do next, of course. So, very natural for me. I have not managed to be present all the lessons in this process. Can you hear me?
Yes, now yes. Go on.
Not able to join all the meeting at this process, unfortunately. But when I do, when I am like today, I'm so grateful for it. It's such a beautiful connection, and really gives the feeling, you know, like making me feel very optimistic. Meeting, you know, other pure souls and people who are really searching for something else than what is, you know, more common in our world. So thank you, Shlomo, so very much. And I saw Helena and Engel, sorry if I'm mistaken with my names, but I really feel your presence, and really just feel my heart expanding, and I'm very touched. So thank you very much. Thank you all very much.
Toda, toda. Thank you so much. Okay. So, if somebody else want to say, we are here. If not, we will.
I want to share something.
Yes, Avner.
This is
Wow.
deeply important for me. I have a weekend with my older son now, going to a special course of leading in the army. And he asked for an empowerment. And during the session, I understand what I'm going to give him tomorrow.
Yes.
So amazing. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for this opportunity and learning. Thank you.
Toda, Avner. Thank you so much, Avner. Okay, guys.
Yes.
I will close this session. You want to talk? Aaron's wife? No. So I close the session because, you know, I let go of all the attachments now.
Yes.
Attached to this session. So, bye-bye, guys.
Love you all. Thank you.
Love and happiness.
Thank you.
To
Wow.
bliss.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Maureen. Amazing, Maureen.
Shlomo, this was just beautiful. I needed that.
Yes.
Thank
Please,
you.
my love to the
Thank
whole
you.
of Australia.
I will.
Away. What time is it now? 1 o'clock?
No, no, no. It's actually 4:15 in the morning.
Wow, 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 wow.
I'm getting up in an hour's time. But this was just beautiful. And I have to say, from, you know, the deepest part of my heart that is weeping with pure love and joy, I am so blessed. Again, I say it all the time, but I know this exercise will be so powerful and beautiful for my husband. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
Good night.
You don't want to go home, huh? Or you are
Yes,
at home?
Shlomo, I wanted to say one little thing. You know how much difficulty I'm going through, and see me on the screen. I'm basically smiling and.
So one moment, Roy. I ask all the people here, please, let's give few seconds to Roy. He's in a difficult situation, so just give him our love and blessing and healing. Send him all the love. And we just now your future, your happy future. And we imagine now the support that we give you and the amazing man that you are beyond all these difficulties now. And I can see how it's going to be solved slowly, but all the way. Yes, if you want to share, Roy, that's okay for me also. You want to share?
Yeah, basically, things are kind of happening in not the worst case scenario, but not too easy. And I'm going through a lot. I'm keeping Shlomo updated as much, even a bit too often, I guess. But so many ideas, so many ideas that I held inside that couldn't be expressed because nobody would understand them. And now I feel I actually am back, like to consider, you know, those good scenarios, those good optimistics, and I guess I have a lot in my calling. It's quite a big one, and yeah, it's very exciting. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you all. and I really appreciate that.
Okay. So if we are here anyway, so if you want to share, we'll take another 10 minutes until 7:30 Israel time. Just if you want to share or say something. Bye-bye. See you soon. So people want to go. Let's go. Bye, Elena. Bye. Bye, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I know very much. I have to go.
Bye.